What's up, Squid Kids? Are you ready to take on one of the most beloved creators on YouTube? Well, I mean, probably like top 100 with 17 million subscribers, right? Seems pretty high. And how does he do it? Like, look at these thumbnails. Who the hell is clicking on these thumbnails? Like, what is this aspect ratio? What is this haircut, hippie? What is... Like, you just always just sitting there. Wow, and this is what people click on? Okay, well, here's the thing that's relevant to the Squid Kids. Squid Games Season 3 was bad!
You read the title, you already know my overall thoughts on Squid Game Season 3. I found it to be very disappointing, but now let's dive into the spaghetti and meatballs of that thought process. Let me go ahead and take you on a journey through my neurons here, get you with the mind freak of why I thought this was such a letdown of a season. Getting into spoilers. Big spoiler warning. Brace for impact. Here she comes.
You know, guys with long hair usually look bad, but this guy at least combs well, so that's good. And maybe you should trim the beard a little bit as well, you know? I don't know. Alright, so this is it, huh? It's just like this guy in his bedroom with his nerd bullshit behind him, and this is what gets the views. Okay, whatever. Let's see what he's got. His neurons are firing. Wow. Impressive.
You've been warned. Season 3 doesn't really give...
Oh yeah, I guess spoilers. Okay, I don't know. I haven't watched this before, so don't know how much he's gonna spoil.
You answers for a lot of the things that it was gearing up towards. Like, it felt like Season 2 was setting a lot of building blocks for things that would be answered in Season 3, only for Season 3 to roll around in here with Whiskey Dick and provide absolutely none of those answers or any closure to a lot of the things that it felt like it was building towards.
Okay, so I mean, I've seen the ending of Season 3, but I won't talk about it yet. And I guess I didn't pay that much attention because I don't really remember there being many questions that were asked. I don't know if the show would have been better if we had found out like the explicit ways that all the Squid Games had been set up in the past. Not necessarily, because the Squid Games is just a show about people dying gruesomely. You know, you don't really need to explain everything about it. Okay, it's just what it is. All right. I mean, it's interesting to see a little bit behind the scenes, but also it's okay to leave some of it to mystery.
Best example, let's just get one right away, rip a band-aid off. The detective. The detective, Huang, from Season 1, it felt like he was going to have a crucial role in Season 2 and 3, which I remember Season 2 and 3, the idea was they're supposed to be watched together. It's like one season, but they split it in half. But even if you watch them together, it doesn't change anything. The detective, he basically becomes like this naval explorer. He's looking for this island. He's just constantly out on a journey trying to find this island with Captain Park, who they never make any progress. They keep trying to chip away at it, but they never get anywhere. It's not until the actual last episode that he finds the island.
Well, what do you expect? They probably had like millions of, well, probably thousands of, I don't know, how many Squid Games were there? They remained undiscovered forever, okay? Like, why do you figure that he's gonna figure it out? Like, just because he's got free time, he's gonna manage to find the Squid Games right away? Come on, man.
And by that point, it's too late to do anything. Now, of course, some things happen with the detective and learning that the captain maybe is a little shadier than he thought. Maybe the captain's in on it. I don't know why I'm like beating around the bush. I already said this is a spoiler. I'm not gonna fucking tiptoe around here with foreplay. He learns that the captain...
Yep, here's the spoiler.
...is part of the Squid Game. He works with the upper echelon, the top brass.
I hate when my captain is a squid. That's a problem.
So like that kind of stuff happens, and that's okay, I guess. But it doesn't lead to anything. So the detective eventually finds the island in the last episode. He goes to the island for no shit, less than 30 minutes. I'm not exaggerating. There is literally a 30-second countdown because it's about to self-destruct because the game is over by the time he gets there. So he spends less than 30 minutes in there, and we only have 3 scenes of his presence in the actual Squid Game trying to find his brother, because his brother is now the leader of it. He's the puppet master, and he's trying to get answers from his brother, and he knows this is the last time he's going to be able to see him because he's not going to be able to find him again. So he gets there, doesn't find his brother until he breaks some glass, and then he watches his brother leave. And he says, why? His brother says nothing and he leaves, and then so does the detective. That's the end. That is the end of the detective's whole character arc. He spends 2 seasons. He dedicates like his life to trying to find this island, trying to find his brother, only to find the island, do nothing. And then like
what is he supposed to do? Like if it's gonna self-destruct, what do you figure he's gonna do? Like sometimes the bad guys have just set up everything so you can't stop them. Okay, and that's the whole point of the Squid Game, is that the little guys can do absolutely nothing, and they're gonna get fucked, and they're gonna get murdered, they're gonna get dropped from really high up, okay, and there's nothing that you can do other than watch and enjoy in some kind of sick, twisted way of doing that, okay? And that's what the Squid Game is about, and that's what you never fucking got.
Final, montage here, it's like a happily ever after for him, where they're talking about like, man, what are we gonna do now that we succeeded in finding all this? It's like, what the fuck, you didn't succeed, you actually did nothing. If you took
They blew up the Squid Game because they found it, okay? It was blown up. What more do you want? I mean, you weren't gonna find the rich people behind it. That's why they put masks on everyone and nobody even knows who their orders come from, okay? You probably need like 5 seasons to get all the way to the rich people, but who knows, maybe we'll get there eventually. Well, not with the original cast, because like that was the last season, but there's supposed to be a spin-off, so who knows?
The detective out of season 2 and 3, and everyone associated with like the trying to find the island, nothing changes. Actually nothing. So they're patting themselves on the back, fucking fingering each other's buttholes about how great of a job they did to get to the bottom of it, when they didn't do anything. All they did was arrive to the island as it was basically blowing up, going nuclear. Like, it's such a waste. Like, what is even the point?
It wasn't gonna blow up if they hadn't gone there, you fucking idiot. What the fuck are you talking about, man?
And even bringing them back for that when they have nothing to do. There was no payoff. We didn't even learn anything from their investigation other than his brother is the top brass, and Captain Park, well, he got involved with them and took the bad guys fishing, then became like a close pal of theirs. And then we learned like he was also in like gambling debt, which is how he even got there in the first place. But like, none of it matters. None of that matters. Now, there's a lot I want to get into.
The whole premise of Squid Game is that everyone dies horribly and nothing matters, okay? That was the whole point of season 1. So I don't know why you figured that it was never set up like they're gonna win. It was never set up like they got a chance of unraveling this mystery or stopping this huge organization. Blowing up like the main Squid Game hall is probably gonna set the bad guys up, set them back a good bit. So I don't know. I think that's a good enough payoff for the show. I don't know.
The weeds up, but I want to give you some of my like positives about it, because I don't think the season was like horrible or like unwatchable or like ruins Squid Game or anything.
I mean, you wrote it was bad. I don't know, man. Oh, I probably should full screen this actually. Oops.
Like, there are things that I do think were done well. Best example of that in this season was the hide and seek tag game, where one team had a knife, the other team was trying to avoid them and trying to find the exit. And the objective was you have to kill at least one person in order to pass. That was extremely tense, it was done extraordinarily well, and it had some really powerful, very powerful character moments. I just yapped about like the entire plot summary of this episode, but I'm going to just remove that here because I don't know why I'm just regurgitating all of that. This is like spoiler talk, I'm assuming you've already seen it, but I think what they did with the mother and her son, that dynamic that they built up through season 1, I love the way they handle it here in this game, where the son still he lets people walk all over him. He cannot bring himself to kill someone in this game. The mother tries to sacrifice herself, letting her son stab her so her son can live, but he can't bring himself to do it, so instead he targets the newborn baby, and the mother instinctively reacts by killing her son, and he still apologizes as he's passing away in her arms. I thought that was handled really, really well. And I think it makes...
That is a strange way of looking at it. Okay, so the son was like a big nerd and a loser. But I don't know, I thought it made sense that he would not kill his mother, but instead try to kill either the pregnant woman or the baby. But that baby wasn't gonna live. That was probably the rational move, okay, so... I don't know how you characterize him as a pushover in this case. Like he made his choice, and he grew a spine, and he didn't kill his mom even though she wanted him to kill him. Okay, so that was good. You know, a lot of selfish people in the game would have gladly killed the mom. You know, but no. I don't know. I think he did well. He was a big nerd, but he made a smart choice in the end, and then he died for it. That's the Squid Game for you.
Makes perfect sense for everything that they were building towards there. I also think Hyunju's death was extremely powerful. The superstar of the rebellion, she was doing incredible work in protecting the people she cares about. In this game, she was protecting the mother, the baby, and the older woman. She eventually defeats and kills someone that was trying to harm them, and finds the exit, and as she's going to get her friends to the exit, she gets stabbed in the back and killed by Myung-ji, which is the father of the baby. Murders her right in front of them. I thought that was excellent. Like, it was extremely sad, it was very emotional, and it was something that made a lot of sense. We had seen that he had teamed up with Namgyu, and they're going around just like slaughtering people, trying to like get more prize money added to the pot, but also he's killing people to try and reduce the amount of people that can be a threat to his girl and the baby, and ends up killing the person that is protecting them. And while I do really like this game and the episodes around it, like, I think the first 2.5 episodes are very strong. There is some stinkiness present, and this is going to get into my big complaint.
Wow, stinkiness. This is... Wow, I can't wait to get into the stinkiness. Some stinky fish games. Squid Games.
Because this is what happens a lot. A character like Daiho. You'll remember in Season 2, it built him up as like a Marine. He's like a happy-go-lucky guy, but he's also, you know, rough, tough. Is
that Sauron back there? This room is it's an atrocity. Like, people talk shit about Asmongold, but having all this actual trash in this room isn't any better just because it's clean. Like, none of this serves any purpose. Like, you should be ashamed of yourself, alright? Why do you have all this trash?
not afraid to, you know, get down and dirty until shit hits the fan, and he's tasked with getting the magazines and bringing them back while they're rebelling. He panics, freaks out, gets too scared, and he freezes, melts down, and he doesn't bring the magazines, which inevitably leads to people dying. Well, in this season, we see the repercussion of that, which is Ji-hun hates him. And now we're seeing Ji-hun wants to kill him. So in this game, he is looking for him actively to murder him. And Daiho doesn't get anything to do other than say, I lied about everything because I wanted to be cool. I wanted you guys to think I was cool. And then he, like, fights back against Ji-hun and then gets killed. And it's like, well, why even bother keeping him around? Like, the idea, I think, was to show that Ji-hun is kind of, like, falling apart here after everything that happened in Season 2. Like, he spends the first episode kind of, like, in a trance, like this fugue state. And then he, like, snaps out of it here while, like, choking out and killing Daiho. And he's like, it's your fault. And then he comes to the realization, like, yeah, it is kind of my fault. But, like, it's still just... You don't get a whole lot out of that character. He just says, like, I wanted to be cool. It's like, okay, well, that's not a whole lot of payoff for this character that we built up. I felt like there could have been more there. But I don't think that's...
I know, what more would there be? Like, there's a big reason for why he did it? I don't know. It doesn't seem like that makes sense.
It's like the worst case of it. Like, there are characters that get done even dirtier. Another great example, Min-soo. He's, like, very cowardly, but he's not like Courage the Cowardly Dog who, like, rises up and, like, saves the day to protect the people he cares about, you know, overcoming his fears. Min-soo in Season 3 gets reduced to a drug addict. And I'm not exaggerating. He does. Well,
how do you figure that would be what makes sense? Like, you're expecting this to be like this great narrative, but it's never been this great narrative. This is like terrible people dying horribly, the show, okay? I don't know how you figure that he's gonna be courageous. I enjoyed that most people in Season 2 were actually complete scumbags. I thought that was interesting, because in the first season I felt bad for most of them dying, you know? But in the second season, like, they keep voting to stay in these horrible games. They deserve to die so bad. And I don't know how you figure that someone who's like scared to die is gonna get over that. Just like so you have an interesting payoff. No, people are scared for all of their lives and they never get over it, and that's much more satisfying, really.
All he does now is he finds the Thanos cross of pills and he starts popping pills and then gets addicted to drugs, so he starts hallucinating and eventually he dies. That's it. Like, what the fuck is even the point in keeping him alive? Why?
That was so cool how he took that cross and he threw it on the bridge, and then the Thanos guy died. That was chef's kiss, okay? And it makes sense that someone who finds pills would then become a drug addict, even though it's kind of hard to believe because he only had like 3 pills, but okay. I think it was well done.
Why did we give any attention to this guy?
I love how in the end they have this talk on who they're gonna vote off, and then like one guy is the main character and the baby, and then the other guy is just like this horrible drug addict that everyone hates, and they're like, yep, gonna kill him for sure. I thought that was cool, okay? Sometimes it's just interesting to have things work out the way you expect them to, alright? That's just okay.
Throughout season 2 and like a lot of season 3 as well. Like he does.
By that I mean that like you don't have like this Hollywood subversion where it's like, oh, actually the coward was the bravest one of them all. No. Like what? That doesn't make any sense. Why do you figure that that's always going to be where the story goes?
Does get a lot of screen time, and it seems like they're sprinkling little breadcrumbs here, a little bit of seasoning on this character that you're expecting something to come from it, but all that comes is a fucking crippling pill popping addiction. Like this guy's fucking fiending, he's going through withdrawals, and like he looks like a League of Legends player on a 10-game losing streak by the end of it. Like it and there's just nothing there. There's no payoff. There's nothing that comes from it. What the fuck is the point? Another big example of why are we doing this, please, you're embarrassing me, is the VIPs. I didn't like them very much in season 1. It was just cartoonishly over the top, and here it's even more cringe. Holy. Like, it was so bad I started to bring out the old notepad. That's when you know it's getting fucking rancid. So, like, one of the lines was, I spent so much money on my helicopter, but it was late. Or it was something like that. Basically, he was crying because he didn't get a chance to go in and start killing some of the people himself because the VIPs got to go in uniform and kill some of the people that didn't complete the hide-and-seek game objective. And he's like, I was late on this helicopter, I spent so much money, and now I'm the only one that didn't get to go hunting. And then the others are like, yes, you missed it. It was exquisite hunting. I go hunting a lot, but this was another level of hunting. Which is a fucking stupid line considering they were defenseless. Like you didn't really...
Yeah, that's hunting, okay? You hunt defenseless things. That's always what hunting is, you fucking idiot.
It wasn't, like, very sportsmanlike at all, which I guess was kind of the point, but it was still, like, all of these lines are just so ass. And they cut to...
I mean, like, I didn't get the part there. Like, was the helicopter ever set up? Did he mention a helicopter in the earlier season? I don't know. Is it even the same VIPs? I mean, what do you want, man? Like, just to reveal that the VIPs were in the Squid Game and they were killing the players. That was cool, okay? Now you don't need to have like the best writing, but I think I heard they wrote the VIPs bad on purpose because they really hate the rich, which is funny because like the way they write the poor is like way worse. Like the main character in season 1 is such a piece of shit in the first episode. Like I was always hoping for him to die, okay, because he was such a stupid guy. Like he was constantly gambling, even though when there were people who needed money so they don't steal his organs, he still betted all his money instead of giving them what he had so he could live for longer and provide for his daughter. He just went and gambled it all away. And I wanted him to die, and that's the guy who we stick with for the entirety of the show. And in the end he wins it big and he enters the game again, you know? This is... What point am I making? Like... Everyone's looking like an idiot in this show, and that's okay, alright? Like, there is just this disconnect between me and Asian cultures where try their best to do comedy and it never works. So to me, it never felt like any of this here was particularly cringe. It's just like, oh, this is stuff that Asian people think is funny, and then here we are again. Uh-oh. At least with the helicopter I could relate, you know? Like, damn, they spent all this money and then it didn't work out. Like, poor people think like, oh, you already had all that money. How do you should be happy. How dare you complain about anything? First world problems. And then you buy this crazy helicopter to fly to this evil organization to kill some poor people, and then it's light. How dare they? They should have waited for you, okay? I don't know why they didn't wait for the VIP. Whatever. It's a shame, alright? I'm glad that the VIPs were more part of the game, because they got to make some of the decisions, even though some of their choices were stupid, but then the chairman like twisted what, well, he gave him he gave him suggestions that were actually really smart to making the games more entertaining, and then they were just convinced by him, and that was cool, okay? I like the VIPs, sue me.
Them quite a bit, where they're all just kind of hanging out in the lounge here, but it's basically just like the anime club. Like, these are some dorks. It's like one of them just keeps drinking. They're like,
well, who are you talking about, Mr. Like, a lot of adult toys, Big Sauron in the background? Who are you calling losers and nerds?
Did you bet on 222 to win? I did.
Is it too close to home? Is that the problem? Maybe you should just touch grass and then you can stop being cringed out every time there's like a nerd.
I was a little too drunk. I was sipping on the most expensive brandy, and I voted on the pregnant woman with a broken foot to win jump rope. How silly. But that also means I voted on her baby. Assuming, of course, the baby's going to be a player. And they're like, yes, of course the baby will be a player. It'll make it far more entertaining with a baby on the line. Evil, evil, evil. Evil, 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 evil. Like, that's all they do. That's all they are. And it leads to nothing.
What do you figure that... What are they gonna say? Do you think they're gonna be like, oh, we gotta stop the games, we gotta get the baby out of there? And then the guy would listen to them. Like, if you're in a group that sponsors an evil Squid Game, you think you're gonna make friends by saying, oh, let's get that baby out of there? No. Like, of course you're gonna play along, alright? Whatever, man. Also, why do you figure that they care about this baby? Or why they should try to save the baby? Like they're already happy with killing everyone else. You think they're gonna have a problem because they're like too young to even be someone yet? Wow, it's like a late-term abortion. Damn.
You just get the worst dialogue and the worst scenes from the VIPs. Holy shit, it's trash. I hate everything with the VIPs. And it doesn't go anywhere. Like, there's no actual, like, payoff where they get their comeuppance or anything. They just sit there, they drink a little bit,
Yeah, that's right. That's the Squid Games, mister. There is no comeuppance, because how do you figure that you're gonna get to the VIPs? I was actually curious, because they triggered this self-destruct, but then I also figured that they must have had a way to get the VIPs out before the island blew up, because, like, the whole point of that Squid Games is that the VIP enjoy themselves, and them dying would be really bad, you know? You're never gonna have Squid Games again if you kill all the sponsors. So I probably would have enjoyed like seeing the VIPs having to escape the explosion. Maybe the guy with the helicopter that was late, he actually dies because he's the only one who doesn't get picked up. And then the woman that he's trying to hit on, she says, "No, you pig, you gotta be here and you gotta die in the games." That would have been funny, okay? But you can't kill off all the VIPs. What's wrong with you? Come on, they didn't deserve this. Like, who here wouldn't want to participate in these Squid Games and bet on the poor dying? Come on, man.
They have the worst conversations ever, and then they leave on their helicopter at the end of the season, and that's it. That's it. You don't learn anything else about them. Nothing happens to them. That's curtains. It's just, shit is terrible. Even if they did get their comeuppance, all of their scenes would still be terrible. Really, the show does fall apart on the jump rope game, even though I don't hate the game itself.
What? The jump rope game was like the best. What could you possibly complain about here? I mean, yeah, the hide and seek was really good too. This was a good show. You're insane.
It's not as good as the glass one, obviously, but I didn't hate the game. It's very simple. You cross a bridge while jumping rope. It's literally a Mario.
I mean, like the jumping rope one was actually pretty cool because like it is actually kind of fair, and someone could just like sprint across and then like jump over the rope, easy peasy. In the glass one, you had to work together and sacrifice people all along, and that's pretty crazy. And you don't like it was just based on luck. This one was way more interesting because you actually had to like avoid the bar that was gonna knock you off. That was pretty cool.
Mario Party minigame. Then there was a twist where once one of them got across, he started pushing the others back, killing them, basically trying to just leave it so there's only him and Ji-hun, because they're the ones that passed at the time, to win it. And I actually thought that was pretty good conceptually, yeah. And it was clear what was going to happen. Junhee was going to die here, because we saw her break her ankle in the hide-and-seek one.
Well, it wasn't that clear, because like there's many times where something really unexpected happens, okay? Like, I don't know, like, they could have found a way to make her get over there. Also, like, physically, she should be able to complete the jump rope challenge, because, like, pain is there to protect us. But then if we're gonna die because of the pain isn't gonna let us jump, then the adrenaline is just gonna kick in, and she's gonna ignore the pain, and she's gonna jump on her broken leg. I mean, it wasn't even like the leg wasn't broken, just the foot. So it would have been fine to jump on it, except for the pain. So like she could have gotten over it. And the VIPs, they were like saying, "Oh, if she's gonna protect the baby, she's gonna have crazy strength because she's a mother." That could have happened. You don't know. I was actually kind of surprised that they didn't find a crazy way for her to survive. But yeah, too bad.
So it was very clear she wasn't going to make it across. So she sacrifices herself, and then it is all up to Ji-hun to protect this baby. Myung-ji is still alive here, which is the father.
I mean, she didn't really sacrifice herself. Like, she just jumped off, you know. She didn't even try to get across. Oh, well.
The baby and the former lover of Junhee, which of course now puts these two together going into the final game. Big problem is, though, all of the characters we've cared about up until this point are dead. It really seems like the tag game before the jump rope was like the finale game, because that's where all of the characters we gave a fuck about lost their life. So then after the jump rope game, the people that make it are people we just don't even know, except for like the older guy. That guy is still there, and Myung-ji, but other than those two, it's just faceless nobodies.
I mean, all of these people got a decent amount of screen time. It's just that there's always so many people that it's hard to stay connected to them. But the Squid Game isn't supposed to be like, oh, here's the characters you like, and then they magically survive because they get plot armor. The Squid Game is all about people just dying horribly. I don't know, man. And I kind of found it interesting to see how the fat rich guy, or whatever, the guy who was owing all of the money, how he was gonna participate, because he's like the only one who couldn't vote to escape the games, because then he wouldn't have enough money to pay off the sharks. It's funny how he convinced everyone else to also not give up. That was cool. I mean, I thought that was well done. I mean, just because we didn't have enough time to get to know these characters doesn't mean that they can't be interesting. And if you watch it again, then you'll see, oh, these characters are gonna survive, so now I can focus on them more. I think it works all right.
Like, it's just NPCs around here that we have not learned about at all, other than like a couple of glimpses here and there. So it takes a lot of the oomph out of the final game, because you don't care what happens to them. And it unfortunately leads to Myung-ji becoming just a psychopath. Like, they build up this character, they have him be like kind of flip-flopping, going in a lot of different directions. Like, for a little while he wants to protect the baby, protect Junhee. He does a lot of things, he even like sides with Ji-hun against the other group in like the final game, which is the Squid Game but in the sky. So he's like pushing people off, then betrays them in order to team with Junhee and protect that baby together. And then he just becomes a psychopath. Like, going into the final part, after everything goes tits up, he just becomes a raving lunatic. And that's it. But And like that's fine because they did kind of plant a couple of breadcrumbs throughout that.
I guess that was kind of crazy how he wanted to kill his own child just so that he can have all the money, even though he could have all the money and just. I mean, if he's so intent on killing the child, like he could just kill it later, you know. That was really unnecessary and stupid, but whatever. It's Japanese drama. I don't know what. No, Korean drama. Okay, what do you expect? Like these people, they don't make that much sense to us. All right, they got a different culture. I don't know. I don't know, man. Also, you keep mentioning their names as if I'm gonna recognize them, but it seems like they don't have enough vowels for me to remember their names. All right, I don't know, or the vowels are in the wrong place. I'm sorry.
Kind of leads you to believe that could happen. Like he is just all about the money and all of it's been fake. That like I don't have the biggest issue there, but the big issue arises in that final game where again you don't care about the characters, but also like he was so logical and like so like calculating. And then all of a sudden, Myung-ji just starts killing people on the second to last platform, knowing full well they need to kill someone on the last one in order to end the game. Why is he killing them on that platform? He could have just waited to the final one for that betrayal and gone from there. Well, not for the betrayal, but for like the, fucking piling up corpses. The big twist on that one, though, was one of the guys who they had beat up in order to drag to the final platform to just be like a easy sacrificial lamb. Well, that guy says, fuck you, literally just dives off the platform, killing himself, giving the big middle fingers to Myung-ji, like, I will not be your lunchbox, as they called him. So then that's when it becomes Ji-hun versus Myung-ji, and he just becomes just a full-blown psychopath, which is very, I don't know, it feels like kind of a cop-out. Like, it made you want to just root for Ji-hun, like, oh, now it makes sense why he's about to kill this guy. But then another big problem arises where they don't hit the button to actually start the game and he ends up killing him, so then it doesn't count, so then Ji-hun has to sacrifice himself so the baby wins. I like the idea of it. I like the theme of it, how the baby is like hope in the the midst of despair, and how Ji-hun, by sacrificing himself so the baby wins, beats the Squid Game, like full stop, he beats In-ho, like the puppet master, he wins by doing that. But it also was highly unnecessary if they had just at any moment across their scuffle decided to hit that button. I don't know why they didn't. And there was also a really silly scene, like the way that Myung-ji actually dies is...
I mean, like, only one of these characters would have wanted that to happen, right? Like the psychopath wouldn't have wanted to press that button because that means that the good guy can win. And then the good guy is too stupid to understand that he needs to press the button. So I thought it was interesting that they didn't press the button, and then that the VIPs insisted that the button wasn't pressed, so now someone has to die still. Or I guess the rules of the game, I don't know. Feels like they could have just let him win with the baby there. I don't know, like he's gone through the entire games and then they insist that he's gonna kill the baby or sacrifice himself. That's pretty crazy. But if you're there and you're fighting for your life, you probably don't think about pressing the button, alright? Like, you probably don't think it makes that much of a difference anyways. Like, the main guys can just decide whether or not you need to kill the baby. Oh well.
They both fall off the platform, and Ji-hun's like holding on to him with one hand, the actual action movie cliche, that big trope, and then he falls. Just underwhelming. Like, it's just underwhelming. Again, that whole thing was played without people we cared about in the first place anyway. I think it was a huge misstep. The most important game was the hide-and-seek tag one. That was the season's peak, and then from there, it went into just fucking messy, very unsatisfying territory. But I'll get a couple more positives out there. I thought No-Kule's storyline was good. That was actually...
So are you saying that you don't care about the main protagonist? Like... I don't know if that's what you're saying, because I heard that people got really pissed because he sacrificed himself in the end to save the baby. And that was the reason why Squid Game Season 3 was bad. But then here you are like saying, oh yeah, these characters, they don't matter. Yeah, they mattered. People wanted this guy to live, alright? The psychopath, he was just like pure evil, okay? But then, like, our guy, we wanted him to live despite his terrible, terrible, terrible choices, you know? And then he redeemed himself, I guess, by sacrificing himself for the baby. And he didn't realize that it was all pointless anyways, because everything was gonna be blown up, you know. Like, who knows if the guy would have even let him escape, you know? Like, when, like, the cops are coming and we're gonna blow up this island, but we're gonna let this guy who knows everything and he was trying to stop the games, we're gonna let him live? I don't know, man. That's all kind of interesting thoughts there, and I thought it was all well done.
Pretty satisfying, where she squares off against one of the big bads there, and she's trying to protect that guy, player 246, that she knew because of his daughter who was sick, and it really strikes a chord in her and reignites that feeling of hope that she used to have with her own family. So then she betrays this way of life with the Squid Game and does everything she can to protect them. And then, after the Ji-hun sacrifice, she was about to take her own life, but then saw, nope, hope is still there. That baby gets to live, so then she decides she will also press on and live. I thought that was handled very well. But now let's go back to another negative, because I forgot to mention this one. What was supposed to be the big climax reveal where Ji-hun learns that the guy he used to call a friend in Season 2, the guy he thought was dead, is actually the game's master. He is actually the showman. He finally takes off his mask and reveals himself to Ji-hun. And we get a little bit of In-ho's backstory, not much. It's all very shallow. We don't get to actually learn a lot about him, or a couple of other key people I thought that we'd learn more about. But like with him, we get tiddlywinks. We get to learn that he was also a player in the game. And this conversation between the two of them I thought was going to be big. It wasn't. It was actually maybe like 5 sentences total, where In-ho gives him a knife and says, the other players are conspiring to kill you in this next game, you and the baby. This is your best chance. Take this knife, go in there, kill them now, and you will win. So he gives him that knife, and then we see a flashback to where the previous game's host gave In-ho that same knife, that same choice, and In-ho went in there and he slaughtered them. He killed them. Well, Ji-hun doesn't do that, obviously, and goes through with the game, but then getting into the final game, I will say, it's not like he really did anything. He actually just sat on low power mode. He actually just sat by idle like he was just fucking glitching. He just sat on the side and let people bicker amongst each other, like just have all kinds of little arguments with each other. He did nothing. He got very lucky. That's it. And that's supposed to be like his big stand against In-ho and like defying what he thought was the only right choice. But he just got really lucky that the others kept arguing so much. Which, again, like, it did make sense, I suppose, but it was just still a little...
I mean, they weren't really arguing, they were plotting against him. I don't know, I thought that was... Like, he knew that there was no way of convincing them. And he was ready to fight them, and he was ready to kill the baby so that they wouldn't get their easy win. I thought he played that one pretty well. You're actually insane right now saying that was low power mode. Like, he worked his ass off to save that baby. You madman. I mean, it was stupid. He should have just killed them in their sleep. And he was like there and he was poking him with the knife and he's like, I'm gonna kill them, or maybe not. Ooh. Like, don't poke them with the knife. They're gonna wake up and kill you, you fucking idiot. But no. Fine, whatever. Well, I don't know. It was okay. It's too bad he always makes stupid choices, because it would have been so good to just kill them. Maybe they wake up and they fight back, and that would have been the actual game. But no. I guess we just had to see the Squid Game return.
Underwhelming. It wasn't like a triumph, like, take this, In-ho, my way is the correct way, watch. And then he didn't prove it until the very end, where he squares off against Myung-ji and then sacrifices himself. That was like the big I win, you lose moment. But that...
I mean, I think the reason why he didn't kill them is because he was gonna... Like, he didn't think it was worth killing 6 people to save the baby. Like, he thought maybe if the 6 of them survived, that would be somehow okay. You know, and who is he to kill them? I think that was the thought process. I don't think he just wanted to stick it to the guy. Because the guy was telling him, you can kill me if you want. Like, if he wanted to stick it to him, he could have just literally stuck him with that knife, alright? But he just decided that... Like, he didn't want to kill the people in their sleep, alright? You don't have to think, oh yeah, he did it for this bigger reason. No, like you try killing someone in their sleep. Like, it's not gonna be pretty. You're not gonna feel good about yourself. You know, your life's gonna be so fucked up after you've done that. You're probably always gonna be afraid when you try to go to bed. Oh, is someone gonna kill me? You know, you're always gonna be haunted by the memories of the people you've killed. I don't think most people will be able to kill like a bunch of people in their sleep. I don't know. It's crazy of you to expect that he would have done that.
Conversation I just thought was so lackluster. I thought it was just so underwhelming, unfortunately. I would have liked a lot more from that. And really everything around Inho ended up being very underwhelming. Like, we have spent so long with the detective trying to get to his brother, and they don't even get to talk. They don't even have a single conversation. The best he can do is just ask why, and just gets crickets. Like, that sucks.
I mean, yeah, they had conversations. They were, like, before, when the brother was coming, he was, like, telling him not to come. You know, he was telling him that we're gonna have to kill each other. You know, don't do it. And also, it's pointless because they'll just replace me. And then the brother comes anyways, and then, like, they got nothing to say to each other because, like, they're so convinced in what they're doing is right. I don't know how you're gonna express that one. I mean, I think they did the best they could with that material. Like the best you could have hoped for, like, realistically, the best they could have produced here was like when we think about season 1, when we have the old guy and he's confronted by the hero, and the old guy's like, huh, people love killing each other, like, for pennies, you know. Look at this guy in the street, you know. He's gonna die because he's a piece of shit drug addict. And that was the ending. If it was just him, like, saying, "Oh, look, this guy's gonna die because he's a hobo." Who cares, man? The Squid Games. You talk about this hobo, or, like, I don't know. They would have this epic fight. It probably wouldn't make sense, you know. Like, they still wouldn't wanna. Like, he just wanted to end the game, and the other guy was just gonna continue doing the game, you know. But there wasn't really a need for them to fight. He already pressed the self-destruct button, so like both of them weren't gonna win anything by fighting, and there wasn't much to say. I don't know, man. Like, you would probably expect, like, if there's something that's considered good writing, you'd, like, have a backflash of how they were children or something. That would be stupid, and I wouldn't want it. Like, it's okay to sometimes not have a big conversation, all right? Like, there's still meaning there.
Like, that just sucks. Why did we even build towards it? I don't know. I could yap more about it, but the point is, I just felt season 3 was just so disappointing. Oh yeah, in the actual, like, last scene, you get Inho driving around in America, and he happens to see an American recruiter playing Dadachi with someone in an alleyway, thus setting up the American Squid Games spin-off.
Yep.
Woo! Yeah. Cool, I guess.
Yeah, you do guess.
Yeah, can't wait for that.
Yeah, you really can't.
Like I said, I don't think season 3 ruins Squid Game, but
I heard there were so many people complaining about, oh, American Squid Game. Who asked for this? Oh, everyone. Like, Mr. Beast Squid Games has like 800 million views. Like, that's who asked for this, okay? Like, people are definitely gonna eat that shit up if it's not like random Korean people that we can hardly relate with because their whole culture is different, alright? This is what people are gonna want, okay? Like, maybe the critics can convince everyone that it sucks, but I don't see how, because this premise is gold. And finally we're gonna have, like, interesting people participate in a Hunger Games, and not just like some fucking annoying teenagers, okay? So I am really hyped for this American Hunger Games, alright? And people are complaining, oh, why are they playing this Korean game in America? Oh, that doesn't make any sense. Like, the whole show, that whole scene was, like, completely bunk, because, like, it's like any time a Japanese anime goes to America and they're flying, like, 10 million flags and they've got big titty girls everywhere, like, this is a caricature, okay? It's funny. Like, this is what you look like to them, okay? They don't expect... I mean... Okay, what do you expect? They're gonna change it so it's tic-tac-toe instead? And he gets slapped if he loses that? And then he doesn't realize that tic-tac-toe is rigged and one guy always wins? Like, the guy who starts always wins? I don't know, man. Like, they just used that Korean game as a shorthand for, oh, look, it's the Squid Game, it continues. If they just changed the game, it wouldn't have made sense, because then you don't know what exactly is happening. But because it's that Korean game, we know for sure that this is Squid Game. Okay, we don't know. It's not like, oh, look, everyone's doing it. Like, everyone's got underground hobo games where the hobos fight to the death. No, this is actually the same one. Okay. So those were criticisms I heard about that last scene on the internet. Let's see what he has to say.
Man, was it lackluster. It was not amazing. Not the conclusion I would have liked to see. Some good moments. Definitely some good moments. A lot of bad moments, though, too. That's really about it. So, yeah.
There weren't many bad moments, no. You're insane. Alright, subscribe for more. Bye, everyone.